Okay, so this is day 25, summary for day 25. Actually, now in day 26. So this is where the tire meets the road here, day 26. Um, that's what's going to happen. But what happened in day 25? We started off at the 3 a.m. phase with a flying dream, extremely vivid, elongated, you know, uh, dream. And I flew many times, like several times. I was actually talking to people about my technique of flying. I flew from location to location in the dream, and it was extremely vivid. I mean, an extremely vivid dream, energizing dream. Um, I'm just going to say that just based on the content of the dream, I mean, I'm not going to get into the content of the dream other than that flying and the vividness. I really think it's God's grace right there. A little bit of help that I needed right there, and I just got that. Um, Everything else went fine. The only other thing to note about day 25 is that I did have a no sleep at 3 p.m. Okay, that's back to back with the no sleep that occurred on day 24 at 3 p.m. Which, as far as I'm concerned, if there's going to be no sleeps, that's where they need to be. Just stay at 3 p.m. for me, and we'll take care of you just in a second here. Um, so okay, so now I'm now at 48 hours since my last negative sleep event, not counting no sleeps, of course. Just not going to focus on those. I'm talking about sleep when I've taken sleep outside of the schedule. Okay. Oh, there was one thing that was interesting that I didn't really document or anything, but at the 7 p.m. Phase, um, I actually woke up at in like 22 minutes, and I thought, oh no, because I had because you never wake up. I mean, it's like I never just wake up. Um, I mean, I've done it a couple of times or whatever, but most of the time I'm knocked out of sleep by the alarm. Okay, and I know you're supposed to wake, like, it's supposed to be a process where you wake up naturally before the alarm and all that. Okay, but that's only happened like once or something, except for this last time, and I woke up and I thought I didn't have any recollection of a dream or anything, but I felt the subtle energy. That's the thing about Uberman. You're coming out right next to Delta sleep, and I could feel that. The only thing I know how to describe it, internal energy. It's also known as Kundalini energy. I could feel that subtle energy, moving inside of me. That because it had just come out of Delta. I'm assuming. Don't have a sleep monitor or anything, but I'm assuming that I had Delta sleep but no REM. I mean, I don't exactly know, but for some reason I woke up at like 22 minutes into the phase, and I just assumed that the alarm that I overslept. Number one, that I had overslept. Number two, that the alarm malfunctioned. Okay, that feeling. You get a feeling when you wake up and the alarm's not ringing. It's this dread because you think of every oversleep you've ever done, and that feeling when you oversleep, man, it's just bad because I just effed up. I mean, that's pretty much what it's a really bad feeling. Because you can't there's nothing you can do. It was almost as if it was beyond your control, even. I mean, so I thankfully checked, got up, checked the time, um, saw that it was 22 minutes after, and thought, wow, that's weird. And then laid back down to sleep, and that's when I felt the subtle energy there where I could feel it. And I figure I just came out of Delta, and that's the remnant of that, where, because it's like to get the full Kundalini energy going, you have to be unconscious, okay, or you have to be training in that energy to the point to where you can remain conscious while, and then that's what the yogis do. They go right through delta sleep completely awake. Okay, they don't go unconscious like the rest of us because they train their mind, their meditation to be aware. And they have like a 24-hour awareness, and they observe themselves. When they're in delta sleep, they're looking at themselves sleeping. Okay, and so that's that's what would happen if I had been training that way, but I haven't been, and so I just it's like anesthesia. You just go unconscious, and but then that's the good thing about Uberman. You come right out of it immediately, like as close to that delta as possible. Okay, and that remnant of the energy, because it goes from, that's what I was trying to say. When you're in delta, it's going full bore. The energy is going full bore, but you're asleep, so you don't remember it. It's the darkest, deepest, darkest. In the Book of the Dead or whatever they call it, Bardo. Okay, because the Book of the Dead is a psychological manual. The Bardo states are psychological states. They're like states of meditation. They don't apply to actual death. Okay, it's the actual meaning of the esoteric manual is not literal. It's only literal in the sense that it applies to like psychology, like meditation and stuff like that. And that's what it's for, I'm sure. And the anyway, I'm just getting way off track on that, but you go unconscious. Okay, they call it a bardo, and part of the bardo thing is that you lose consciousness, and you can, we tend to do that. Our mind tends to do that in between thoughts. Like sometimes we'll have a train of thought, and then whoop, we're in another, that bardo. It's like we got hit by a bardo, and then bam, now we got something else we're thinking about. And like the Bible says, a man is changed 7 times a day. Okay, and that seven can also be interpreted as the complete number, which means completely changed throughout the day. Could be an interpretation. There could, who knows, there could be a 7 day in every 24 hours or 16 hours or whatever. I mean, I don't know, but there's something more to the number seven that where it's more literal. I don't know. Okay, but that's what it's all about. I mean, okay, and so that's what a bardo is, and it's same thing, and you can see evidence of it. Okay, you want to see evidence of the bardo, you can see it in your own dreams. Okay, when you try lucid dreaming. If you ever do a lucid dream, notice how difficult it is to hold your train of thought in a dream with all this stuff running. All of these external dream elements that are around you distracting you, the pull of the environment, the fake environment, that time and space environment, that fake thing, with all these distractions. They're representations of our own mind. Okay, the distractions that we normally encounter in our daily lives, they, in the daily lives, in the physical lives, they're actual real things. There's people yelling, there's traffic, there's things that are pulling at our consciousness, okay, as we're moving about in our lives. Okay, and the dream just basically replicates those experiences, and creates that same environment to help us adapt. I mean, that's the whole purpose of it. Is so we're adapting to our environment in our sleep and gaining strength and ability to function, to again support the organism ourselves. To be able to hunt, to be able to survive, because we are in. You have to work for your food. You're not gonna get food without doing some kind of work or effort, and it's a survival. Our lives are constantly in a survival state. Even though in industrialized society it doesn't necessarily, people don't really realize it, we're still under that curse. I mean, we're not going to be able to get away from it. There's nothing we can do to get away from it. We're in that situation, and our system, our broken system. See, because we're not supposed to. The fact that we have bardos in our consciousness shows that we're broken. Okay, like angels don't have bardos. They're pure intellect, uninterrupted. They don't sleep. Their memories are perfect. They just have a constant awareness, and it's unbroken. Okay, and that's how that that's how it was. That's how we were actually created. Okay, but we're not like that anymore. We're broken. The fall of man. That's what happened. We all now we have Bardos. Not only do we have to work mentally to keep going, but we have to work physically just to get enough nourishment so we can even attempt to even think about working mentally. I mean, it's the full system has been compromised. That's what the fall of man is. We are all compromised human beings. Um, okay, and so what happens is delta sleep. We go unconscious because it's the highest state of consciousness, and we haven't trained ourselves to cope with that through I'm sure it's years and years of training and everything, and meditation and everything, and you know, it's yoga and all the stuff that those guys do is for that purpose, and so they can, just clearly, so that in the waking state and in the dream state, they're conscious throughout both. Okay, that's enlightenment right there. That's full enlightenment when you can do that. So anyway, I'm just trying to focus. Oh yeah, the delta. So that energy, I could feel it. Okay, and what happens is if you go through an 8-hour sleep phase, I mean you go farther and farther away from that delta sleep. Okay, and then that Kundalini energy moves farther and farther and farther into your subconscious because the energy is constantly running. Like they say everybody's enlightened. Okay, because that means because we all have the same consciousness. Okay, um, going. Okay, but you have a subconscious, you have a conscious. So that's the the wall between them. And uh, but when you come out of delta sleep, so close to it, you can feel that energy. You can actually feel it going, and that's what I experienced when I woke up at 22 minutes. I could feel the energy just, and I knew, I was really close to Delta, and because it was closer to my consciousness, to the conscious mind than it normally is after a extended period of sleep. And again, that's all connected to why Uberman produces polyphasic sleeping produces these vivid dreams by default. And that flying dream is an example. I think it was an extraordinary grace though to have that dream because the timing of it just seems so perfect and it was so necessary. So I needed it. Like I really needed to have that dream. And the content also indicates to me that that's the case. So I'm just thankful for any help I can get. And I definitely am thankful for that particular dream. Um, and it was just interesting waking up at 22 minutes, not having remembered dreaming. So I'm thinking I went into Delta and came out of Delta, and that was it. Um, like, was REM denied? I mean, did I have enough REM from my previous oversleep? I don't think so. Because I had a no sleep, see, at the 3 p.m. So you would think that I would come back with some serious REM. I certainly don't remember it. And that could also be a problem because the other thing about dreaming, okay, when you're doing dream work, is when you first wake up, you have to devote all of your attention. Like, for instance, you have to devote all your attention to what you were just dreaming. In other words, when you first wake up, you can't even move. I mean, in other words, you have to remain completely still. You get into a habit of remaining completely still when you first wake up, okay? And then, in the position that you're in, you actually review what you were dreaming. What was I just dreaming? While you just sit there and then focus and breathe, and just like wait for the memory to come back, okay? And then you start running inventories of people you know. You start running inventories of your thoughts and your feelings. Okay, if you still don't get it, then you have to shift into the other because the memories will be coded by your positioning when you were asleep. So then you shift into another position and do the same thing. What was I just dreaming? People I know, thoughts. What was I thinking? What was I feeling? And you do that on all three. Like for me, it's three positions: left side, right side, and back, but mostly it's going to be sides because I don't sleep on my back. So, um, and the problem with that, okay, because it requires it to get a 100% recall. You can get like a 100% recall of your dreams, um, but it requires that discipline when you first wake up. Otherwise, what will tend to happen is the dream can occur, okay, and then there's a little while, and then we wake up, and then if we jump into action, if we do something, we don't have that discipline. That dream, if it's faint, it could be faint, but that you can still recall it if you put in that effort with the discipline. If you don't, then it's as if you don't remember any dream at all, but yet you did dream. Okay, so it's there. See, but you didn't, and then why don't I do it? Well, why don't I just stay still when I first wake up and start processing my thoughts and my feelings and bringing the dream up to recollection? Because I'm doing Uberman, okay? If I do that nonsense when I first wake up or Uberman, guess what I'm going to be doing? Going right back to sleep, okay? And this is not a monophasic sleeping cycle where you can just sleep as much as you want and it's no big, well, whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. But the fact is, I'll go back to sleep, and I can't. And that's the thing. The Uberman schedule is more important than um, dream work because unless I can reliably produce a lucid dream every single night, I can't handle monophasic sleeping. I just can't do it. I'm too my time is too short. So, um, okay. So anyway, that was interesting. Just a little bit of input on that, and it's been 17 minutes. Kind of blabbering about these various things, and so okay, the focus for day 26. I think this is where the tire meets the road. I think I'm going to hit serious boogeyman activity at 3 p.m. And then when I defeat it at 3 p.m., okay, it's going to follow me into 7 p.m., follow me into 11. I don't know how many phases it's going to follow and how long it's going to take me to get through it, but we'll find out. We'll find out. And that flying dream is, I mean, if you're looking at it according to a pattern, it's encouraging. I like it. I'm glad it's there. Um, and I would expect, according to the pattern, that I'm going to have more polyphasic euphoria because obviously Flying Dream had that in the 3 a.m. I'm going to have more on the 26th. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I will keep you guys updated, and thanks for watching.